Welcome to the Relentless Leadership Podcast, where we speak to incredible leaders that are living their best life, doing the do, finding out how they do what they do through mindset, through nutrition, through training, through the tough times, through the good times. We deconstruct the mindset behind great people doing great things. And my first guest today is not only one of Australia's best drummers for sure, but he's also my best mate. It's Dan Kerby. DK, welcome to the show.
My brother, what a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you on board, my man. Making the time.
Oh, bro, thank you for having me. We're honoured to be the first guest on your show.
Absolutely.
And I must say, I've never spoken to you in this
setting.
way. Yeah,
I know, so we better watch our language and
yes,
just
exactly.
make sure we don't say anything
incriminating
naughty.
or naughty. Yeah, no, of course.
Exactly, we'll behave. But again, thank you for your time, man, because you have been on tour.
Yes.
You've just been traveling Australia with Unwritten Law.
Correct.
Doing some incredible shows.
Correct.
I had the honour and privilege of being backstage. You can see that in my vlog, guys, if you want to see snippets of that.
AAA.
But AAA rating. It was awesome. It was a great experience. Yeah. But again, you've been traveling. You've been super busy.
Yes.
So again, thanks for your time. It's awesome.
Mate, my pleasure. Well done on the setup here.
Looks good,
It looks epic.
Yeah,
yes.
looks great.
So yes, I have been travelling. I've been out with Unwritten Law for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For those that are unfamiliar with Unwritten Law, it's basically yours and my favourite band.
That's right.
From when we were
Which
kids.
is such a trip. Yeah.
It's a massive trip, and I've done like 13 shows with them. We've had some big runs. We've done like 6 shows in 6 days, 4 shows in 4 days, blah blah blah. We've kind of done every state. We've just got WA left.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been good. Right in the swing of things now.
100%. It has been awesome. The feedback's been great.
Yeah.
The shows have been awesome.
They have been.
And you in the show has been awesome. Not just
Thank
saying
you.
that. It was all class. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on this episode, because I wouldn't have just asked you to come on for no reason.
Yep.
I wanted you to come on because this show's about leadership. It's about being the best at what you do, and you are a solid operator, and you always have been. So again, you can be good at what you do, natural talent, and then you can be a relentless leader and an operator where you go in there systematically, you own that space, you know how to deliver, and you do it at the best that you can, and pretty much the best that anyone can, and that's exactly you. So that's what I want to talk about. So I want to rewind. Let's go back.
Sick.
We've got a lot of history.
I love it.
We've got a lot to go through.
I love it. Yep.
Let's talk about Little DK.
DK. Okay.
You're an incredible drummer.
Thank you.
If you do not know much about Dan Kerby, drummer of Bliss and Esso.
Correct.
Behind Crimson Eyes.
Correct.
28 days.
Correct.
Unwritten Law in Australia.
Yeah.
And there's so much more going on. Plus you own a drum academy.
Yep.
And an incredible drum teacher. How did it all start for you? How did your obsession with being an incredible drummer start?
Okay. I'll take it back to when I was very young, and I'll just kind of keep it pretty short because I'll blab on forever. But basically, my dad was a drummer, a drum teacher, so I was always around drums, and I just loved drums and drumming. But before I ever knew really what drums were in a band context, always loved just getting on the drums and playing them. Like I'd literally go out we had a shed out the back of our house. I'd just go out there and play them for hours, just making noise. When I was like 3-4 years old, got a kit when I was 4. Moved along through that. Dad showed me bits and pieces. And honestly, I met yourself. I met you when I was in year 12, and you introduced me, year 7.
Yeah.
And you introduced me to punk rock music,
Yeah.
which I knew nothing about. And then I kind of learnt that what I did with the drums was in punk rock, and then it all kind of worked together, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
100%.
Pretty much that was like one of the moments that clicked.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I loved drums but didn't really understand it in a music context. And then as soon as I put 2 and 2 together, with the help from yourself, boom, here I am.
Blew up.
Yeah,
So
20
you
years
just thank
later.
me for everything.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Jokes.
Yeah.
So basically, I want to ask you a question in
Yeah.
regards to that. I mean, your dad was an incredible man. We all love Donnie.
Yep.
And incredible drummer.
Yep.
And then obviously gave you this gift. Do you think you're more natural talent or more work ethic?
I think it's kind of like half and half.
Yeah, which is a good mix.
I think it's half and
Yeah.
half. I think naturally I'm pretty musical. I kind of gravitated towards the drums pretty easily. I could play quite naturally.
Yeah.
I kind of understand music pretty well. But then that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
The rest is work, and the rest is just grinding away at little things along the way,
100%.
and just mastering little things as you go. Never really mastering anything, but getting better at everything as you go.
Yeah, because I think again, you were always really good, but the work ethic that you put into your drumming, and you were always a grinder, always doing the fucking hours, getting it done, day in and day out, making it happen.
Correct.
Which is why you are where you are right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting question, because anyone who's obsessed or passionate about something, there's going to be people that are talented, but again, if you don't have that work ethic, you don't have that discipline, you don't have that ability to sacrifice for your craft, you will never win long term, is what I believe. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that. There's a lot of times where, sometimes I don't feel like drumming, or sometimes I don't really feel like putting the work in. You know what I mean? But I know I have to.
100%.
It's just a matter, like, for this Unwritten Law tour, I was getting up at 5:30 in the morning and getting to my studio by 6, jamming from 6 till 8, then going to work, and then teaching drums after work till 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I just had to do that because I just had to put the hours in, because they were expecting me at a level, and they kind of Scott the singer was like, "You're the Australian Travis Barker." So the pressure was on. He thought I was really good. So I was like, I have to rock in good.
Yeah.
I had, we had one practice together, and then we had a gig.
Yeah.
And they're like a world-class band, so I have to, I had to be on.
100%.
So there was no option.
Exactly.
So I couldn't be bothered. I was like, oh man, I got to get up and go play drums. But then I'd go, get it done quickly, smash it out.
Yeah. But that's how you create opportunities, and I think that's a really important distinction that we need to make. It's like you can sit back and look at what you do, or what I do, or what other people that are successful do, and say, "Oh man, they're so lucky." Or especially in the music sense, people have this fairy tale vision that just being a rock star, you're just drunk all the time, and then you wake up and you just rock an arena show, and then you just get drunk again or whatever. But you're literally putting the work ethic of a basketballer or an entrepreneur into everything that you do every single day. Yeah. And there's so much more than just playing that gets you to where you are, which we'll delve into a little bit more shortly. But again, I think that's really important for all our listeners to know. It's whatever you're passionate about and whatever you want to be the best at, you have to sacrifice for it, bleed for it, in order to become the best at what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
100% agree.
It all started in high school.
Yep.
Well, before that, but then it started to develop. You started playing in bands. We played in a band together for a long time.
Yes, we did.
A lot of fun.
Yes, we did.
And then after that, it just started to blow up for you, right? And then what bands did you start playing in? And then what was the next sort of progression?
So from our band, I went to Behind Crimson Eyes, who were at the time a nationally recognised band, touring, big day outs and all that kind of stuff. And I learned a lot transitioning into that, and I learned a lot how things work, the back end, I guess, of music, the music industry. Yeah. I got really good, I feel like, in that transition, because the drum parts were so hard to learn. Yeah. The drumming was insane. Yeah. So again, I was learning those songs, and there was a couple of albums. One album was kind of easy, and I started on that. I didn't really realise that was the easy album. Then I moved to the hard album and learned that, and I sat in the room. I was sitting in the room like this. I was just going, oh man, this is so hard. Yeah. What have I done? Because nothing really repeated. Yeah. So there was that jump, and then we were touring with 28 Days, who were old, I guess, legends of punk rock in Australia.
Legend, though, especially when we were younger. We
platinum selling legends, So we toured with them, and then that a position opened up there, and I kind of slotted into that. What else? I played with DJs at all the Monster Energy gigs. The Bliss and Esso. Oh my God, I could talk for ages about this. But each one's been a transition, and there's been growth involved with every one of them. Yeah. And a lot of work as well. A lot of learnings and a lot of work.
Yeah, 100%. And then of course in the background you're, teaching people how to be drummers. Absolutely. And you've got your own studio, and you're doing all this work in the background. Absolutely. As you play with these bands, tour, learn, and continue to grow. So it's not an easy lifestyle. It's pretty hectic most of the time.
It's insanely hard, actually. I'll teach drums till 10 o'clock. I teach in Ballarat till about 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. Yeah. Drive home, get home about midnight. Yeah. Work. I'm working all day, every day for Monster. And then, Wednesday night I'm teaching till probably 10. Thursday night I'm teaching till 10. So I don't see Jen, my girlfriend, pretty much from Monday night through to Friday. Yeah. And then I teach all day Saturdays. But then if I have gigs on the weekend and I end up just working, which is what no one really sees.
Yes.
You know, they see all the videos and they see like me touring this band and doing a big show and how'd you get there and how did you manage that? Or I might be in the States doing something cool or whatever. How did you do that? Well, it's because I've worked.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So freaking hard. I've got 2 full-time jobs pretty much. That's how I can do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of kind of balancing the work, like the teaching stuff, with doing my own stuff. Because sometimes I'll kind of spend more time on that and then I might get a little bit frustrated that, hang on a second, I actually haven't done much for myself for a couple of months. So it's a never-ending...
juggling act.
Yeah, juggling act, pretty
100%.
much. But
and you're nailing it, so well
it's
done.
good.
100%.
Yeah, it's cool.
So let's talk a little bit about creating opportunities, because in life you can be... I believe there's 2 types of people. There's people that like sit around and wait for things to happen, and then there's people that fucking make it happen, right?
Yep.
And often, like you, me, and the crew that we hang out with, we always talk about just making things happen, and we don't sit around and wait around. And our philosophy is about creating opportunities.
Fully.
And I think in the music industry especially, there's a lot of people that sort of sit back thinking that an agent's going to walk in the door and say like, oh, dude, you're the best drum I've ever seen.
You're amazing.
Yeah. Come and play for Blink-182 or whatever. Rather than the reality, which is if you've got to be awesome at what you do, like you've got to be so good people, you know, can't ignore you. But then you've also got to be smart enough to put yourself in the right places, the right conversations, doing the right things to make things happen. I've seen you pull off some incredible projects, not only with the drumming, but also you're very entrepreneurial because you're doing these awesome content pieces. We just saw you. We just went to the Hisense Arena, was it? Supercross Arena, where you played in front of how many people?
40,000.
40,000 people.
Yeah.
Doing a huge drum off, flames going everywhere. It was epic. But to do things like that opportunity didn't come to you. You created that opportunity.
100%.
So what would you say to people? Talk about some of the opportunities you created, and then let's inspire some people in regards to how do they stop freaking waiting for things and start making it happen?
Well, you just got to... for me, it's just like opportunities don't really come around too often, I feel, especially good ones.
Yeah.
And they often don't come around without you, as you said, kind of putting yourself in a position where they do come through, right? So with those content pieces that you were talking about, that's just years and years of I guess, grinding. So the way that exactly came about was, for example, I flew myself to America a couple of years ago to go to a music conference called NAMM. It's basically the biggest music conference in the world. 90,000 people go to it. But it's not even open to the public. So that's 90,000 people in the industry. Yeah. So anyway, used my own money, took myself over there, did a signing with Remo, which is a drum skin company, and I met some famous drummers, like some cool drummers, like Frank Zumo from Sum 41, Adrian Young from No Doubt.
Big names.
Big names. I did a sign, I was sitting next to Dave Weckl. If you're not a drummer, you probably don't know him, but he's like the Lord. He's like the Michael Jordan of drumming. Right, so anyway, just found myself in that kind of position. Personality, got to know some guys, you know, played it well. Frank was in Australia with Sum 41, teed up with him through Zildjian, a cymbal company, to do a content piece, and he went back and looked at my catalogue of content that I'd created just for the sake of it, you know, for self-promotion, and he saw a clip he really liked. He's like, dude, I want to do something like that. So I called up my team on my own dime, and it's like, okay, I've got this shoot. Put together my team. He's in Melbourne. I'm like, man, I've got him for 2 hours. I have to do something epic. He's expecting this.
Yeah.
I have to deliver. I can't have him come to Australia, borrow his time and do something average. So basically came up with the concept that, you know, and we wanted it to make sense. It's like, I'll bring you to my city and I'll show you around the place. So I wanted to like hire a van and pull up and play in iconic spots. That idea kind of morphed into like us basically hiring a boat, setting up on top of the boat, touring around the city, playing drums on top of the boat. So he's seeing the city, we're jamming together, we're getting crazy shots of us, which I don't think has ever really been done before.
It's epic. It's
you know,
amazing.
And then aside from the fact of just drumming on a boat, we kind of had to tie it in to make it make sense. It's like, why are you on a boat? Well, I'm showing him around.
That's right.
We're doing some epic stuff here.
There's a good narrative behind it.
So there was a good narrative behind it. So that kind of led to another one where I went over to LA and did an episode with another really kind of well-known guy, which hasn't come out yet. Then it snowballed from there. I showed some people. The guys from the Supercross wanted me to potentially do one there. And then I just called in the big gun, Ben Gordon from Parkway Drive, all through just years of networking. And like, I interviewed Ben years ago. That's how I got that contact. And just kind of pieced that together, which was a massive project.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if you'll share links or something, but
let's just put the image of you actually rocking the Hisense Arena on the screen. We're going to play a quick clip of you rocking it, and then we'll just talk about that. Yeah. Let's
perfect.
go. So it was epic.
Yes.
It was epic.
Yeah.
I could feel the flames and I was sweating watching you. And I was up in the grandstand going, that's my boy, yeah. But it was so good to see you up there. But I loved how you tied in the storyline of the Mad Max sort of storyline going through it. And it was really, really cool.
Cheers.
But what did it feel like going out to the arena?
Mm-hmm.
Not many people get to not only, I mean, you play in front of thousands of people all the time, but you go into an arena of 40,000 people. You've got high rises. You're playing with the other biggest drummer in Australia, Ben Gordon. What was the feeling like when you were there and beginning?
So, good question. There's the way it looks and there's the way it feels.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of put a lot of that together. So, for me, it was very stressful. So, like, the pre-roll movie is us obviously getting to the gig.
Yes.
And then we ride out on motorbikes. So we only kind of linked up with the guys from the stadium the day of. and the live TV crew. So I was kind of orchestrating everybody, like this is the pre-roll, and then we're going to shoot out of the tunnel, right? So my main thing was that, like the playing was easy. Again, I'd practice the drums so much that the playing part of it was easy. No sweat. I did my little solo bit 50 times, probably 50 to 60 times. Just back, day. So that's easy. So the writing out and orchestrating everything and making sure that everything worked properly was the most stressful thing. Anyway, once we got to that, once I got on the kit and everything was working in my ears, I could hear everything. One thought that I had was we didn't see the flames until we actually performed that on the spot. So I remember getting on the motorbike and pulling up to my kit, and I had like these fireworks, I guess, on my kit pointing out. And I looked at them and I was like, don't forget that they're coming at a certain point, because that'll put me right off if that's shooting out of my drum kit. Like a huge sparks. So that was one thing. But anyway, so once I kind of started lifting, that's when all the flames were shooting around the arena. I remember just like, I'd do a drum fill and they'd program it so the flames would link up to my hits. So I'd go like, and they go around the stadium. I was like, oh man, that's sick. Don't get distracted.
Full focus.
Full focus. And there was like things shooting off everywhere. And so that was cool. The playing was sweet. I got through there was like 16 bars, which were really hard. Smashed them. And then I didn't really think about it till we finished. And then I was like pretty overwhelmed at the end. I was like, oh man, I can't believe we just pulled that off.
100%.
'Cause we literally filmed the intro to that the day before that. And we had to have it delivered to the Supercross like we were just making deadlines. We were trying to pull off ridiculous things. But I didn't want to just kind of come out. I just thought, man, we're in a stadium. Let's just go as big as we can. You know, it's as important the post movie as the actual performance is. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So, and again, I threw a lot of my own cash into that. We didn't have to do that. It cost me a few grand. Just to do the pre-roll. I didn't have to do it. Could have easily not done it, but I think it adds value to everything that I'm doing.
Oh, 100%, definitely. And I think that's another really good touch point. It's that, again, so much of what you're doing, people sit back and think, oh, Dan's probably sponsored and all these stuff's just being given to him or whatever. But you're putting your own time, money, energy, you're creating the opportunities.
100%.
And you're putting in the work, which is why you're fast tracking your success compared to most people day in and day out. And that's a massive credit and a good learning point for everyone here. They should be thinking, how can I do something similar to that?
Agreed. I mean, because if I wasn't doing the teaching, if I didn't have the extra income, blah, 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 I wouldn't be able to just put money into things like that.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So...
So let's talk about Bliss and Esso.
So
awesome tunes. Most people know Bliss and Esso. Probably Australia's biggest hip-hop group.
Them in the hoods, the top hoods.
So incredible. And you've been playing with them for how long now?
6 years.
Fuck, that's gone so quick.
I know, man.
Really? Wow.
6 years,
man, that's so fast.
Pretty much 6 years in a couple of months.
So tell us, is there a moment... Now, why I want to bring this up is that obviously we grew up together. And I remember so many times where we were playing in a band, we were like 13. We'd watch these bands, we're like, oh man, can you imagine one day... I don't know if that was you or me that sounded like this. They're like, oh, imagine one day if we were on a stage playing in front of like... 20,000 people, that feeling, and then you're up there doing it. Have you ever gone up on stage, looked out to the crowd, and just taken a moment to say, like, wow, man, I'm here. I've actually look what I've done. Most people will never do this, and look what I've done.
Yes, yes, I have. So it is all Bliss and Esso. Like it's them, you know. They've put the work in. It's their show. Everyone's basically there to see them. I'm just kind of like a part of the show. But like the honor in that is that they've selected me to share that space with them. Right? That's their sacred space. Everything they work for and have worked for the last 20 years is in that moment on the stage. And for them to be like, okay, we want you there and give me a little bit of freedom to kind of do what I want, really. They don't really direct me too much. That's the big win. But to answer your question, yes, there was a time we played at River Stage in Brisbane on the first tour I did with them. River Stage is like a big open amphitheatre. It's like 9,000 people. And I remember watching the act before us. You can kind of go upstairs and look out over everything. And I remember just looking at all the people and just being like, I cannot believe that this is just a gig. Like, this is their gig. This isn't a festival. There's 9,000 people there stacked on a mountain. Wow. I was like, I can't believe this is just their gig in Brisbane.
It's incredible.
You know what I mean? Like, little things like that. Or often when I can see the crowd up on a hill like that, that's when I'll have those thoughts. Yeah, because sometimes you can't really see them too much if you're if it's flat, but there was definitely that moment, which was cool. 100%. It was a little bit nerve-wracking too, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine.
To be honest,
That's another great question. I mean, overcoming fears is so important in business, in life. If you want to achieve greatness, you have to challenge yourself. I always say to friends and clients, whoever, try to do at least 3 scary things a day or 3 really uncomfortable things a day to condition that mentality. So every day you're putting yourself out there on social media, you're on stage in front of 9,000 people, 40,000 people. Do you still get scared, or is it now, have you like turned it into more of like a creative or motivational energy that you then channel? What's that experience like for you?
Yeah, so there's different feelings and different thoughts for different acts and different situations. So like, as I was describing before with the Supercross, I was more concerned that all of the parties were going to work together. That was the concern for that. With Bliss and Esso, initially in the early days, I was just kind of trying to get through the gigs without stuffing up. Now I'm super comfortable, so I don't really get nervous at all. The only thing I get nervous about is if sometimes I'll drop the tracks, so I'll trigger the tracks or whatever, is if my gear doesn't work. I get a little bit worried about stuff like that.
100%.
In terms of playing, not really. With Unwritten Law, like their expectation was pretty high. Like they basically wanted a perfect show. Which, because I was kind of new, I'm the filling guy, you know what I mean? Like, and they think I'm a legend. The expectation was high, and it was a bit stressful for the first few. But now I'm in the swing of it. I feel very confident in it. Do you know what I mean? It's all with that stuff. It's just like initially it can be a little bit scary, but once you get in the swing of things, it's easy. And it's just exciting. And the crowds don't really faze me. And and a little thing that I always tell myself, I actually did a drum performance at the Drummers Weekend, which is like maybe 600 drummers. And drummers are like the most critical people to play in front of because they all want to be on the stage 100%. And a lot of them aren't. And they're like, oh, that guy's not even good, I'm better than him. That's the mentality that's behind a lot of them. Well, they're judging without even meaning it. But the thing that I always would just tell myself is it doesn't really matter. No one really cares because...
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? I could do a little stuff up, but they're not really going to remember that.
100%.
You know what I mean? They're just going to they're wondering what's for lunch. They're probably bored. Do you know what I mean? So that's like the thing I tell myself. And also when I'm in the band, like a lot of the punters out the front don't really know the difference between 100% and a 95% good show. Like if I miss a fill a bit late or something, no one really knows. So I don't get too beat up about the little things.
100%. I think, again, another good distinction that... self-talk is so crucial. That internal dialogue in regards to anyone that's achieving success, you could be going up on stage going, I'm the worst, this is going to be shit, I'm going to stuff up, blah, blah, blah. Or you go on there thinking, it doesn't matter, or I'm the best, or whatever. What sort of dialogue do you go in there? Do you sit there and say like, I'm the king, I'm about to rock this? Which is fine. Let's just put it out there.
Okay, so for example, the latest thing that happened to me was Unwritten Law had a big Sydney and a big Melbourne show. There were the 2 big shows. Sydney was sold out, 1,000 people, and Melbourne was like 3,000 people, so it was huge. And you know, before the shows, we have a band talk, and Scott, the OG original member, the singer, was like, you know, these are the 2 most important shows. Tonight we go out, we dominate. I want the best from you. I want the best from you. He does it to everyone in the band. He's like, let's not fuck up tonight. No fuck ups tonight. You know what I mean? And then that kind of does my head in a little bit because I'm like, man, shit, the pressure's on. You know, so I start going, oh shit, why is he telling me not to stuff up? I don't really stuff up. And then I have the internal dialogue of, this shit's actually easy. You're there. You don't have to worry about that. Just go and smash it.
Nice.
Easy. Done.
Yeah, good.
You know, like that's. I literally had that chat with myself. I was like, just go out there and hammer it. And the way that I've been thinking lately with the last couple of shows, I just need to get through the first song, hammer the hell out of that, then the rest is easy.
Yeah, you find your flow straight away.
Yeah, and there's little bits within the set. Like I just have little moments where I just have to remember certain things. But the internal dialogue is, you got this is easy.
Yeah,
just go and smash it.
Yeah, nice.
Done. You've done the work.
I'm curious. So you're doing a lot of things. You got your school. You got the different bands that you're playing with.
Yep.
You got a lot of content pieces happening in the background, etc. You got your personal life and everything going on as well. How do you stay motivated to just continue to come up with new ideas, push it forward, take it to the next level? What's the motivation behind that? And I guess, is there an overarching vision driving your passion?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if there actually is an overarching thing. Like, I don't know if there's a specific place I'm trying to get to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've gotten to a few places where I would have liked to have gotten to, and I've gotten there, and I'm just want to keep going. Yeah. So I just kind of feel that, like, this is just something I'll just always do, and I'll just keep going and just seeing how far I can take it. Yeah. And making the most of certain opportunities that present themselves to me, and then creating opportunities along the way. But I mean, there's no kind of real end goal, to be honest, because it kind of never ends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And there's no real limit as to where it can go in terms of who I play with, or you know. But yeah, I actually don't know why I'm so motivated to do it. Like, I don't really have an answer. It's just something that, I don't know. It's like, I feel like I have to go bigger, I have to go better, I have to keep pushing, and I have to keep raising the bar. And there's no real logical reason behind it. It's just what I like to do. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, so you've got this internal drive that keeps you going.
It'll just keep going. And if I don't do things, I get frustrated. Like, that's why I started doing these video series and stuff, because Bliss and Esso didn't really play last year. I'm teaching heaps. I'm like, I did some 28-day stuff last year, but, like, there's just not enough. There wasn't enough going on. And I just don't like kind of letting time go by without doing something cool, you know?
100%.
So like the series that I'm doing is predominantly going to be US-based drummers that we're collaborating with, myself and Frank from Sum 41. It's like travel meets drums. That's kind of what we're doing. So, awesome. And we've just had a pretty big breakthrough, which I haven't even told you about, but 2021 looks like we're going to be working with a big drum company. They're going to kind of take it on as a series. Nice. Which means I'll stop having to fork out the dosh for it, you know. But still, that's still in 20. That's still a year away. So I'm still going to be doing it this year and just figuring out how to get them out there and keep the ball rolling, you know. Nice. And again, with that, it's just like I'm just playing drums with my idols.
100%.
Sick.
100%.
Like, how cool is that? You know what I mean? Like, and just seeing who we can get and how far we can go, and learning things from them, and learning about their stories of, like, where they live, where they play drums, how they developed, and just picking up bits and pieces from the big guys.
It's going to be amazing.
I just want to get around the Lords.
100%. You learn so much. You learn so much from seeing how they live, how they play, how they talk, absorbing it all, and of course, then you can replicate and move forward.
Man, and I've learnt heaps from Frank from Sum 41. Like, he's a full grinder. He's just gigging. He's got his own drum company called Street Drum Corps. He's got like 50 groups of drummers that play around the United States. It's a full business he runs. He's a full grinder, and I've just learned a lot from him. And even when we played on that boat, I showed him the song once, just before we played it. We set up. I was like, you haven't even heard this. I gave it to him, and he listened to it once, and he's that good. He's like, okay, got it. Let's go.
Wow, talent.
Like, do you know what I mean? Just work, grind hard. And then all of a sudden, like, he got into Sum 41, which are like one of the biggest pop punk kind of rock bands in the world. They're doing arenas in Europe right now. And he's just got himself there from just going and going, playing with this band, playing with that band, doing drum clinics, doing collaborations with drum brands, similar to kind of what I do. Like, that's why I've kind of looked up to him. You know, he's a little bit older. I kind of look up to him with some of that stuff. It's a bit of a mentor as such.
I love that. Yeah, mentors are crucial.
Yeah, and it's just that work ethic. Like, you just can't beat that. Do you know what I mean? You just can't beat that.
100%. What's the business like of being in a band, and of course all the offshoots of what you do? What's the most challenging part about running your business? Because your business isn't just the drum school. Your business really is all of it. It's the band, it's you, it's the content, it's the school. What's the most challenging part about running the business of DK?
The most challenging part is time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a structure. We've spoken about this many times.
Yeah, we have, yeah, for sure.
But I'm time poor.
Yeah.
That's the most challenging bit.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I've been out with Unwritten Law for a few weeks. I haven't been teaching.
Yeah.
Because I'm not there.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? So, at the moment, that's the most challenging part. No, but the other thing is, like, in Australia, there's only really so many cities you can play and so many times a band can tour. So, like myself, I don't really want to play for 20 artists that I don't really like. Do you know what I mean? I just want to play for 3 or 4 that I love, which, you know, in Australia, you can only tour every so often.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm not really a guy who's just playing drums for a living. I don't really necessarily want to do that even. Because I feel like there's a lot of pressure there and a lot of downtime, you know what I mean? Especially in Australia, you really have to move overseas.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, time poor is the hardest
100%.
part. Yeah.
So time to restructure a bit and scale that bad boy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've
nice.
spoken to you about that many
100%.
times.
And you will.
Yeah.
And you will. DK, I've got 2 more questions for you before we wrap it up.
Very good.
So my first question to wrap it up is, there's a lot of fans that you have, a lot of kids out there that sort of look up to you and I guess, you know, want to replicate what you're doing, etc. What is a lesson or a gift you want to give the people watching who want to be the best at what they do? Maybe they want to be the best drummer and they want to improve. I mean, it's not just about doing drum lessons. What are some of the gifts or lessons you want to share with the people watching who may want to step into your shoes and be the next DK?
So, there's really 3 things. The first thing, you just got to put the work in.
Yeah.
You got to be as good as you can. You kind of got to find your thing. Do you know what I mean? You got to figure out what kind of a drummer or what kind of a whatever you want, an artist or whatever you are. Figure out what type of one you want to be and get really good at that. Because there's so many really good people out there. You kind of got to make your
Niche
own
it.
path.
So
You
you
got to
gotta
niche
find
it.
your
You
niche,
got to niche it a little bit. That's the first thing. The second thing is you just got to put yourself out there. But you got to make sure that what you're putting out there is good or as good as the best you can put out, basically.
Yes.
Right? You don't want to question it too much because then you'll never put it out.
Yeah.
Because there's always someone better.
So it's a balance of like putting enough effort in to make it epic, but not judging yourself too much that you procrastinate and don't do it at all.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who don't really want to put drum videos out because they're seeing the best guys do them and they're like, I'm nowhere near that. And there's always internet bullies. And I put up stuff all the time, especially when my videos go on sponsor pages like Zildjian or someone like that. I cop heaps of negative. I just cop it. But it's just a part of it.
At home,
it's just a part. Like
100%,
everyone cops it.
Absolutely.
And I actually don't mind it these days. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Or it just actually means you're doing something good. If you're upsetting somebody.
A great mindset.
Do you know what I mean? If you're upsetting somebody, and I always click on their page and I look at what they're doing, I'm like, man, you're doing nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different conversation.
We won't get into that one,
get really, really as good as you can. Always get better. Be aware of what you're good at and what you're not good at and work on both. Put out the content. Make sure it's as good as it can be. And the third one is just be a good person.
Nice.
Work on your people skills.
Yeah.
Be comfortable to be around. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of situations you're in. Be aware of why someone might want to take you on.
Yeah.
Like, why would someone want you in their band? Why would someone want, like, what are your selling points? What sets you aside from someone else?
Add value, which is what you do really well.
Yeah.
You go in there and add value.
You got to add
every
value.
time, which just gives you more opportunity, right?
100%. You got to add value.
Yeah, I love that.
Even like when I started with Bliss and Esso, like I wrapped my kit in their artwork. So my drum kit was a full custom, awesome looking Bliss and Esso kit. I paid for it.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, because
That
they see it,
extra.
they just go, man, this is sick. Okay, because I was really trying to stamp my spot there.
Yes,
I was like, this
yes.
is so cool. I've got to. I can't just be a guy that pops in for one tour and then disappears.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to really be a part of the live show.
Yeah, love
you know
that,
what I mean?
love that, yeah.
And then just so I learned how to drop tracks through the electronics and how to integrate into the show better and figure out what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then just be a good person.
100%.
Not go on tour and drink and carry on like an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Figure out the dynamic of the group and kind of find your lane and stay in it.
100%. And that's, again, a really good point. You're a solid operator. You're a smooth operator rather than a reckless, I'm a rock star operator, which, again, puts you behind the eight ball.
It just doesn't last.
100%.
No one wants that.
Great tips.
Yeah. And with Unwritten Law, it's the same thing. It's just feeling out Feeling out the vibe in the band, who's who does what.
Yeah.
How do they react to this? How do they react to that? How do they work? And then just going, okay, this is how it works. I feel.
Yeah.
I find my little spot. And
I love that.
I
love that. Really good tips, man. Really good tips. My last question for you, DK. Are
Yes.
you ready?
Yes.
If we could go into a time machine, we can go back to when we were 12 years old, little punk rockers, and you could give yourself one bit of advice to make your future better or move everything faster.
Yeah.
What's that one tip you would give little DK?
The one tip I would give myself is just to believe in your gut. Believe in yourself. That's the thing that gets thrown around, like believe in yourself. But I think like if you really feel like you should be doing something like I do, just go for it. Go for it hard.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of self-doubt and you get a lot of people that say, that's ridiculous, don't be silly, you need to do this, 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 and this. Like really, I even feel like if I just had gone harder, like I could be a lot further down the track still, you know what I mean? Like I've gone hard, but like if I just really could just sit down to with myself when I was 12, just say just go as hard as you can and don't stop and don't listen to anyone, just that would be it.
Yeah.
If you really have a gut feeling, not on some like rubbish thing like I want to be a rock star because I think it would be cool. Like if you feel like you're a drummer and you're really good at that and that's what you're going to do and you're going to do that forever, just dive into that and just smash that.
Go all in. Go all in.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Awesome
That's
advice. Guys, I hope you got some massive value from today's episode. DK, what's next for you, my man?
Okay, next.
Gonna go on tour.
I'm on
Where
Perth.
can we find out more from you?
We've got WA this weekend. We've got 3 shows in WA with Unwritten Law. We've got a gig in Bribey Island with some old bands with 28 Days.
Nice,
which is going to be a whopper.
Yeah.
That's in a couple of weeks. And then it'll be school, teaching.
Yeah.
Bliss and Esso will be popping out soon.
Yeah.
So
guys, check out DK. His link's on the screen. Go check him out. Check out his drum videos. My man, you're doing amazing things.
Thank you, my brother.
Honoured to have you on the show.
Honoured to be
Keep crushing it.
Keep going.